All right, we're on. Let's go. I'm so excited. This is going to be so much fun as we go through the benefits of a ketogenic diet. Hi, welcome into Christian Keto with Pastor Scott Tom. And I'm excited. And just to let you know that today I am fasting, and I'm not trying to say that to like act spiritual. I'm trying to say that and telling you that because it's something that's going to help you. I want to encourage you as we're doing this together that you can do it. Matter of fact, on a ketogenic diet, it's so much easier to fast. So much more in fasting as we get going, just throwing in a little caveat to get you encouraged. All right, why should you do a ketogenic diet? There's a number of reasons, and there's no way we're going to cover all the reasons in this video. But let's look at some of the benefits. It's not just about weight loss, right? It's therapeutic to even medical applications. You can safely benefit from eating basically a low carb, higher fat diet because we need the proteins, right? Essential amino acids and essential fatty acids. You need that. When you give your body quality protein and fats, it will actually heal. It'll do some major things. But I also want you to see that this is something as you go through, if you're like not gonna stick your finger with a, Keto Mojo or some type of device that's gonna test your ketones or wee on some strips or something like that. Am I in ketosis? I don't necessarily think you have to do that. I don't, but there are things that you will see in your body telling you you're in ketosis. It's working. One of the major benefits that happens just kind of like within a few days, sometimes a few weeks, is that your acne will get better. Acne, yeah. Why is that? They don't know exactly, but it has to do something with the collagen getting in. This is also why it's called a beauty diet, because it begins to beautify your skin. I think that's because of the cholesterol that goes into the subdermal areas. But I think it has to do a lot with the sugars you're pushing out of your cell, right? Bacteria feed on something. If they feed on sugar, it's much easier for the bacteria to develop and get pustules and you get acne much harder as you eat low carb, low sugar, right? So that falls into the next area of awesome weight loss. So it really is. I mean, if you're like me, I haven't dieted a lot of different ways, but if you've tried just the generic, let's cut the calories, let's cut what you're eating and work out more, it works a little bit, but then you go backwards and it's hard to sustain and you're always hungry and you bounce back. Look, when you're on a ketogenic diet, you actually raise your metabolism and you begin to lose weight because you metabolize your fats. You pull your fats out, your body begins to use them, and you become fat adapted or adapted to the ketones. That's what this whole adaptation process is like. And you begin to lose the energy. You gain physical energy, but you lose the stored energy. Okay, so just to clarify that, you don't become lethargic. You get more energy. You just burn the energy that's being stored in your body. Remember, your body can store a lot more fat, so it can't get rid of that without lowering your insulin. You can't lower your insulin unless you cut your carbs. Next up, amazing mental clarity. There's something about your brain just loves the ketones. Your brain uses a lot of fuel, right? It's something that is going all the time. It's basically monitoring and managing your whole body systems, everything going on with your body. So as your brain is doing that, it uses a lot of energy. And that's ketones or your beta hydroxybutyrate, the name for it, right? The fat has 9 calories per gram as opposed to 4 for carbs. It burns a lot more efficient, a lot better, less free radicals. Your heart, your brain love it. And so all of a sudden you get this mental clarity. You don't get this brain fog from the sugars and from the free radicals it puts off. It's still going to burn some sugar, but your body's going to use it much better. Now, part of this is not talked about much, but you get this kind of, when your synapses fire better, and you're actually getting good amino acids and good fatty acids for your hormones, and you have things like your, serotonin and your, hormones that are basically benefiting your endorphins and these kind of things that are now able to be produced and be operated and called upon in a more efficient manner. Being on a ketogenic diet almost gives you this little feeling of happiness or well-being, I think is the name for it. You just have this sense of being better and things are brighter. It's hard to describe. I felt it. Not everybody does, but most people do. If you've been on carbs a long time and a sugar burner, you'll kind of feel this, not just boost in energy, not just feeling better about yourself by losing weight. You just get this little bump in euphoria, little bump in, I feel better, because you're controlling blood sugar. So this is amazing diet for diabetics. American Diabetes Association just came out a few weeks ago. This is back in January of 2020 that they're not wholly advocating low carb diets, but they know now the science is there, and so they're not thrashing a ketogenic diet anymore. If you're diabetic, this is one of the best ways to control your blood sugar. You have to be so careful though, because if you're still taking insulin and you're eating ketogenic, so you're not eating the carbs, so you're not putting sugar in, you don't have as much sugar in your bloodstream or in your cells, and then you're taking the insulin from outside the body, so exogenous insulin, it's going to lower your blood sugar too much, so be careful. We'll talk more about that in the trials of going into ketogenic diet. So you must test yourself really well, right? Remember, I'm not a doctor, I'm a pastor coming from a biblical viewpoint that we're created wonderfully in God's image. If you abuse that, then there's consequences, right? But if you eat properly and serve your Lord, put your anxiety over to Him, sleep well, get your rest, including fast days, giving your body rest, you're going to have all this benefit of that. And one of the benefits is it rejuvenates energy. Your energy levels will go through the roof, especially if you've been sick and overweight for a long time. You don't even have to lose a lot of weight before you start feeling, oh my goodness, this energy is coming back. I mean, I remember just losing about 10, 12 pounds, and I was feeling so good. I hadn't really jogged or run for about 8, 10 years, and I felt so good. I went out and I ran for a full mile. Now, I thought, my asthma that's induced by athletic activities would come in. I would start wheezing. None of that till the very end, because I felt so good. I kept kind of looking around like, man, is this real? Like, if somebody should be filming this, because I'm actually jogging about 11-minute mile, not world record, right? But not building up to it. I just, like, I'm going to go run. I have so much energy. And then what happened was at the end, I sprinted so that I was at a full out run, and I got just a little bit of that wheeze, right? A little bit of that asthma, a little bit of burning in my legs that usually starts like 50 steps in. And I was so pleased, man. But once you begin to burn the fat as fuel, you become really well fat adapted, flex fueled, that you'll have twice the power, right? And increased energy. So that's great. Another benefit is that it normalizes your cravings and your hunger. What? Yeah, on a ketogenic diet, you should eat till you're satisfied. Well, I'm going to overeat then. It's maybe at first you will, But after the first few weeks, if you've been on for a while and you talk to people, they're like, just not as hungry. I don't eat snacks that often. You know why? You're not getting that up in the blood sugar and then the crash in the blood sugar, and your body begins to scream at you, eat something so we can balance out your blood sugar. Protein and fats keep you on a nice, slow, wavy motion, just gentle waves coming into your body so that you don't have these highs and lows and crashes. So your body isn't screaming at you, eat something, because you need to fix your blood sugar. Your blood sugar is normal. So you'll start to eat when your body says, hey, we need more fuel, we need more nutrients, and you'll feel a normal hunger. Eat. So a lot of people, their cravings for sugars slow down. Not everybody. Some completely, totally gone. And I'm like, praise God for you. Didn't really happen with me right away. It's slowly coming on. Your taste buds will change though, and things will be sweeter, so you won't need as many of the natural sweeteners that don't spike your blood sugar, like stevia and monk fruit. You won't need as much, but I still use it. And speaking of sugar, one of the things that triggers migraines and seizures, they found that the ketogenic diet, long time ago, they found this out, is something that greatly benefits because you bypass the normal fuel system. You begin to use the ketones. Your brain uses the ketones, and it dramatically helps with seizures. And so this is a diet it's healthy. It's been since the early 1900s. Matter of fact, when they figured out this diet, they did it through fasting, and they noticed that ketones started going around in your blood, probably, later on in the 30s or 40s. And so they said, what kind of diet can mimic this? Because you can't put somebody on a diet of fasting. They die eventually, right? Because you're eating nothing. So they go, what diet brings out these ketones in a person? And that's how it got coined ketogenic diet. It's basically just eating a lower carbohydrate diet that brings benefit to the body. And another benefit of that is it lowers your blood pressure. And I've seen this, even my doctor, 2 months in, my doctor says, hey, we probably need to take you off some of this medicine. And that was basically because my blood pressure had come down dramatically, right? And so you got to be careful when you're on the diet that if you're taking medication for your blood pressure, and what's going to happen is this is going to begin to normalize your blood pressure, depending on the person, right? Some people it's real fast within days or weeks. Some people it's going to be years. Depends on how much is going on. What causes blood pressure? Well, they call it essential hypertension, right? So that means that they don't 100% know. Sometimes they blame the kidneys. It's holding on to too much sodium. Others are saying other things. But it tends to be multifaceted, just like our body. And I know I'm bringing some of these things in, and you would say, well, it's more complicated than that, Pastor Scott. I know, but I'm bringing it simplistic so that it's easier to understand. And these things can get very complicated. However, the answer is not that complicated. And so with blood pressure, it's a number of things that's going on. Yes, your kidney holds on to sodium. That's why when you go in a ketogenic diet, you also see this wash of water come through. You lose a lot of water weight because carbohydrates bind with H2O. They bind with water. So if you begin to flush out the sugars and carbohydrates out of your body, water follows. But it also does something to the cells and the lining and walls of your arteries. Some people believe it makes them thicker, so they do the test where they do your carotid artery and they put a scanner up to your neck and they want to see the thickness of your artery. A lot of people on ketogenic diets, they see those arteries thin out some, and along with that, their blood pressure goes down. It becomes more elastic, right? Stretches more. So I don't know what the whole answer is, but it will lower your blood pressure, so you got to be careful on that. And then lastly, the metabolic syndrome that's going around, this is something that is, man, they're saying about 88% of the people in America suffer from some form of the metabolic syndrome, whether it be the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or the higher blood pressure, or larger waist circumference, or it's dealing with the blood sugar or diabetes in your system, higher triglycerides in your blood. All these things kind of fit around this metabolic syndrome, and they're all helped or fixed on a ketogenic diet, which I believe, again, is just a narrower focus of a biblical diet that is a faster way to heal. And I know some people are going to get mad, but I think once you resolve your weight and you resolve some of these things, you need to test, because the biblical diet was a little bit more around 50 carbs to 80 carbs per day if you break down the meals and that sort of thing. And I think it could also fluctuate down as much as being very strict during the winter months when they were just having meat. They were probably very ketogenic. So, but you have to test your body and what it's going to do. And so, but now you know how to fix it and guide those things. And honestly, there are too many other things to cover that when you get fat adapted and go on. These are the things in the first few months, first few weeks, first few days that you can see, hey, these things are changing. You know that you're developing and pushing out ketones from your liver. So hope this helps, and hope this is a blessing to you. Hey, for us, if you want to help, I would ask that you'd subscribe, because if you want to get this information out, the best way you can do this is to subscribe to the channel. But next is to share it with somebody. Share it on Facebook or on Instagram or your Twitter account or whatever. And there's a share button down in the on YouTube here that'll let you do that. Or just right click on the video and copy the video, copy the link, and just paste it into your Facebook or your feed, whichever social media network you use. All right, Pastor Scott signing off. God bless you, and we love you. See you next time.